Simpsons predicted the future shot by shot because we're part of the Illuminati. Which is true, we are.
10 more times The Simpsons predicted the future. The Simpsons has entertained families for over 30 years with silly jokes and profound ironic truths. But did you know they also had a knack for predicting the future? It seems like The Simpsons have managed to make a few predictions which actually ended up coming true. The Simpsons have built a reputation for predicting the future. Let's see. Yes, today we are going to be talking about 10 more times The Simpsons predicted the future. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Celeb Mania. Make sure you stay until number 1, as you don't want to miss out the most startling predictions made by The Simpsons, which will leave you dumbstruck. Number 10. The censorship of Michelangelo's David. Eventually, every grown-up animated series does its obligatory anti-censorship episode. Maybe at one point, it was because producers of such series all had similar experiences, i.e., angry parents who would have mistaken the series as suitable for their kids. But by now, it feels more like something that's simply expected of the genre. An episode from 1990 titled Itchy and Scratchy and Marge showed Springfieldians protesting against Michelangelo's statue of David being exhibited in a local museum, calling the artwork obscene for its nudity. It was seen in the 9th episode of Season 2. The satire of censorship came true in July 2016 when Russian campaigners voted on whether to clothe a copy of the Renaissance statue that had been set up in central St. Petersburg. Number 9. The discovery of the Higgs boson equations. Homer Simpson, a fictional character in The Simpsons, may in fact be a scientific genius, as it has been revealed he predicted the mass of the elementary Higgs boson particle more than a decade before scientists did. As The Independent reports, a new book called The Simpsons and Their Mathematical Secrets by Dr. Simon Singh reveals Homer came startlingly close to figuring out the truth back in 1998. It was predicted in the first episode of Season 8. In the episode called The Wizard of Evergreen Terrace, Homer Simpson becomes an inventor and is shown in front of a complicated equation on a blackboard, barring an equation actually works out the mass of the previously unknown particle. According to Simon Singh, the author of The Simpsons and Their Mathematical Secrets, the equation predicts the mass of the Higgs boson particle. It was first predicted in 1964 by Professor Peter Higgs and 5 other physicists. But it wasn't until 2013 that scientists discovered proof of the Higgs boson in a 10.4 billion pounds experiment, which equates to $13 billion. The physicists at CERN, along with Higgs, received a Nobel Prize for this. Number 8. Ebola outbreak. Some people maintain that The Simpsons predicted the 2014 outbreak of Ebola 17 years before it happened. It was predicted in the 3rd episode of Season 9. In a scene from the episode Lisa's Sax, Marge suggests a sick Bart read a book titled Curious George and the Ebola Virus. He isn't interested, so Marge suggests that he tries his hand at painting, at which point Bart ominously points at a drawing depicting some kind of apocalypse where he's dead. There's blood and bodies everywhere, and the sky appears to cry. The virus wasn't particularly widespread in the 1990s, but years later it was the top of the news agenda. Ebola was first discovered in 1976, and though this latest outbreak has been the worst yet, it killed 254 people in the Democratic Republic of Congo in 1995, and 224 people in Uganda in 2000. Number 7. Disney buys 20th Century Fox. In the episode When You Dish Upon a Star, that originally aired in 1998, Ron Howard and Brian Grazer produce a script Homer pitches. It was predicted in the 5th episode of Season 10. The script is being produced at 20th Century Fox, and a sign in front of the studio's headquarters reveals that it is a division of Walt Disney Co. The scene continues inside the studio, where a Star Wars poster appears on the wall in an office where Ron Howard is pitching film ideas. Just so happens, Disney purchased the rights to Star Wars and Lucasfilm 14 years later in 2012, and Howard is directing the upcoming Star Wars anthology film Solo, A Star Wars Story. On December 14, 2017, Disney purchased 21st Century Fox for an estimated $52.4 billion, acquiring Fox's film studio, 20th Century Fox. In addition to a bulk of its television production assets, the media conglomerate also has access to popular entertainment properties like X-Men, Avatar, and The Simpsons. Number 6. The invention of the TOMACCO plant. In 1999, Homer's fictitious character in The Simpsons uses nuclear energy to create a hybrid of tomato and tobacco plants, the TOMACCO. It was predicted in the 5th episode of Season 11. The result is a tomato that apparently has a dried brown tobacco center, and although being described as tasting terrible by many characters, is also immediately and powerfully addictive. The creation is promptly labeled "Tobacco" by Homer and sold in large quantities to unsuspecting passerby. A cigarette company, Laramie Tobacco Co., seeing the opportunity to legally sell their products to children, offers to buy the rights to market Tomacco. But Homer demands 1,000 times as much money as they wish to pay him, and the company withdraws. Eventually, all of the Tomacco plants are eaten by farm animals, except for the one remaining plant, which later goes down in an explosive helicopter crash with the cigarette company's lawyers. This inspired one of the Simpsons fans, Rob Bauer, to create his own plant. In 2003, Bauer grafted together a tobacco root and a tomato stem to make Tomacco. Writers for The Simpsons were so impressed that they invited Bauer and his family to their offices and ate the Tomacco fruit themselves. The plant produced fruit that looked like a normal tomato, but Bauer suspected that it contained a lethal amount of nicotine and thus would be inedible. Testing later proved that the leaves of the plant contained some nicotine, though a sample from the fruit was unable to be examined by the same laboratory. Both plants are members of the same family, Solanaceae or nightshade. Number 5. The United States beats Sweden in curling at the Olympic Games. In one of the biggest upsets at the 2018 Winter Olympics, the U.S. curling team won gold over the favorite Sweden. This historical win was predicted in a 2010 episode of The Simpsons called Boy Meets Curl. In the episode, Marge and Homer Simpson compete in curling at the Vancouver Olympics and beat Sweden. It was predicted in the 12th episode of season 21. In real life, the U.S. men's Olympic curling team won a gold medal after defeating Sweden even though they were behind, which is exactly how it played out on The Simpsons. The victory is the second curling medal ever for the United States. Number 4. Faulty voting machines. In 2008, The Simpsons showed Homer trying to vote for Barack Obama in the U.S. general election, but a faulty machine changed his vote. It was predicted in the 4th episode of season 20. 4 years later, a voting machine in Pennsylvania had to be removed after it kept changing people's votes for Barack Obama to ones for his Republican rival Mitt Romney. Number 3. Three-eyed fish. Now, speaking of three-eyed animals, perhaps the most iconic one was introduced in the 1990 episode. In this episode from 1990, Bart and Lisa go fishing. Bart catches a three-eyed fish named Blinky in the river by the power plant, which makes local headlines. It was predicted in the 4th episode of season 2. More than a decade later, a three-eyed fish was discovered in a reservoir in Argentina. Strangely enough, the reservoir itself was fed by water from a nuclear power plant. Number 2. Smartwatches. We all know The Simpsons have predicted a handful of technological breakthroughs over the years, like video calling and smartwatches. Now, talking about smartwatches, it was first popularized by a fictional character. It was The Simpsons who introduced the idea of a watch you could use as a phone in an episode aired in 1995. 19th episode of Season 6. This episode took a futuristic view of Springfield's favorite family after Homer's daughter visited a fortune teller's booth. At one point in the episode, Lisa's future husband, Hugh Parkfield, voiced by actor Mandy Patinkin, bent over and spoke into a strange-looking device on his wrist, a half-flip phone, half-wristwatch that most modern viewers would liken to a smartwatch. In real life, the Apple Watch was released 20 years after this prediction. Number 1. AUTOCORRECT. School bullies Kearney and Dolph take a memo to beat up Martin on a Newton device in an episode of The Simpsons that aired in 1994. The memo gets quickly translated to eat up Martha, an early foreshadowing of autocorrect frustrations. It was predicted in the 8th episode of Season 6. The Simpsons was lampooning Apple's underwhelming Newton, the iPhone's ancient ancestor that had just been released, and included shoddy handwriting recognition, according to Fast Company. Nitin Ganatra, former director of engineering iOS applications at Apple, told Fast Company that this particular moment on The Simpsons served as inspiration to get the iPhone keyboard right. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the notification button to get updates on our latest videos. And also, don't forget to hit the like button and share this video if you really liked it. While you're here, go ahead and click on one of these 2 videos on your screen. We'll see you there.